All right, so today is a beautiful day, so I'm not going to take a whole lot of time doing any software development today, but I did want to do a little bit of cleanup today. So right now I've kind of got the beginnings of a project and it's starting to get a little bit messy. I still have it living here on my desktop. It's still called test GUI and scratch GUI, and that's not the actual name of the project. And I think my package.json is still referencing the wrong locations on Stack Overflow. So this is one of those times where I actually go back and clean up all of those things that I've been saying I would go back and clean up. So this is one of those times where it actually happens. So I'm going to dig into Scratch GUI, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to rename this here. So rather than Scratch GUI, I'm going to call this Code Championship because that is the name of my project. I've attempted to start it several times, and this time I actually have a successful starting version without a whole lot of errors. So I'm going to cd into documents and cd to side projects and to Avamath. And when I take a look in here, I've already got a Code Championship and a Code Championship API, but I don't think that those do anything. So I'm actually going to get rid of those. So I'm going to say Scratch GUI. React Blockly Drawer was another tool that I was trying to use before I found the latest version of Scratch that used React, so I decided to use the latest version of Scratch instead. Previous Code Championship, that was a previous version of my attempts, so I'm going to take all of these and, ooh, do I have the guts just to delete them? Probably not, so I'm going to say old code for Code Championship. Yeah, that's a low risk way of just taking all of this and not throwing it in the garbage quite yet. So that'll go in old code for Code Championship. And now I'm going to take this Code Championship folder that is my newer version of this project and drag that into the Avamath folder. All right, now I can delete this test GUI folder. Excellent. And I'm also going to take this I'll leave this on the desktop for now, this Code Championship logos, just so that I can find it later, but eventually this will be moved into my Code Championship project as well, all of those logos that I have for everything. Okay, so I'm going to type ls again, and now I've got Code Championship. So I'm going to cd into that, and I'm going to open it up with Visual Studio Code. Now, inside of the package.json, I want to make sure that all of that information is up to date and correct. So it is not true that this project is about the graphical user interface for creating and running Scratch 3.0 projects. This is Avamath Code Championship code. So Avamath Code Championship code with Code Championship website with graphical user interface with Scratch or Blockly, with maybe I say based on Blockly. Maybe that can be in the description. Or I suppose this is the description, but I don't want it to be that long. Why not? Okay. With graphical user interface for creating and running Scratch 3.0 projects. Wow, that is way too long of a name, but I'll go ahead and keep it for now. Okay, Scratch GUI, and this is actually Code Championship. And the main file for this, I suppose if I build it now, that might still be true. At some point I might want to change that. Yeah, at some point I might want to change that because it won't be that file. It'll hopefully be like an index.html, but that doesn't make sense because that's not a JavaScript file. I'm guessing I'll need to change this later, but I don't totally understand what I will be changing, so I'll leave it. The build, the clean, all of these, I'm going to leave those as is for fear of breaking it. The author is not Massachusetts Institute of Technology. This is me. And I don't know if I can relicense this or if I have to use the license that comes from, I'm going to add my last name to the dictionary here. Add word to global dictionary. Enter. Oh wait, did that add it with quotes? No, okay, so that's my actual last name. So I will keep that same license that allowed me to use this project, and then this is going to be not their README, but this will be my README for code championship. Yeah, that's the homepage for the project. So I think that's right. And then this is going to be the URL for the repository. I suppose it will be that. And then instead of Scratch GUI, it would be Avamath code championship. Code championship. And I think that's right. Okay, pure dependencies. This is still going to bug me because I have React Router DOM here as a dependency and not as a pure dependency when I think it probably should be. Let's see. I think this should be moved to a pure dependency. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move it to a pure dependency, and then I'm going to install it separately and see if it still works. So that will be the real test. I'll get rid of it as a dependency, and now it's a pure dependency, just to keep things organized in the same way that it was organized before. But now I'm going to test that. So I'm going to delete my node modules folder, and I'm going to npm install, and that'll take a minute. So what else might I want to change? I think the rest of this is good. It should be pointing to the same locations for all of these. That should all be fine. Node modules are being created now. So I'll npm start this after and make sure that the React Router DOM is still working. The unit tests I'm not using yet, but ideally I will be able to include that unit testing in my own unit testing if I continue to build off of their project. And maybe what I will try, and this could be pushing it, but maybe I will try to deploy. That might be a second video. So here I've just changed a few things, tidied a few things up. Let me check my README, make sure things are clean in there. So this is still on my feature routing branch, which might not be the greatest place for it, but I don't want to merge this branch in yet because the refresh on the whack code is not functional, or on the slash code is not functional. That could be a React Router DOM thing, but it's definitely a routing thing of some sort. So I'm going to leave that as is. It could also be something Scratch GUI does for its routing, or it could just be something I can fix on my deploy if I have everything route through my index. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Firebase for my deploy. So I'm going to say Firebase init. Oh, no. I should make a commit first. I should make sure this is still working. npm start. Small steps, small steps. Okay, now I want to open up Chrome. Port 8601. Failed to compile. That's no good. Interesting. Cannot find module React router DOM. Okay, well, it is a good thing that I tested that. I guess it's not a pure dependency. So pure dependencies must be things that are literally dependent on one another, as React and React DOM are. But I feel like those could be dependencies as well. All right, well, it is good that I tested that, I suppose. So we've got dependencies. And I will test that again. So I will remove my node modules, delete, and I'll try that npm install again. So kill that, npm install. And this will be very angry that the sock.js node info is dead. So I'll continue to get more and more of those errors, I think. Yes. Yeah, and I'm still getting so many of these warnings. The audio context was not allowed to start. Yeah, this is interesting to me. Errors while compiling. Cannot find module React router DOM. So it's almost as if it wasn't installed in node modules, because that's where it's going to go look for that Webpack import. So I'm curious why that is. Maybe I can do a little bit of research. Peer dependencies versus dependencies. Peer dependencies. In particular, it handles subdependencies very well. All right. Well, let's see if this npm start works here. It's still spinning up, so this could take a minute. Oh no, failed to compile again. Cannot find module React router DOM. That is a little disappointing. So I've got it down here in dependency. Oh no. Okay, that really makes sense. Oh my goodness. Come on, Luke. Oh, if you're watching the video, that's probably embarrassing for me. So I'll need to npm install that. Npm install. Okay, so what happened there was I had an empty dependencies object. React Router DOM wasn't in there, so of course it didn't know to install React Router DOM. So now I'm running an npm install one more time, hopefully for the last time. As I am just running up the warning count here. Wow, 2,700. I should probably take a look at that. The audio context was not allowed to start. Oh, my computer is getting hot right now. I don't know if you can hear the fan. Anyway, more time for me to read about peer dependencies. The problem plugins with another host package. Okay, so I guess since React Router DOM is not a peer dependency, it's just a dependency. jQuery plugins from back in the day, dependencies. Okay, but now running npm install results in the unexpected dependency graph of this Winston mail, which also depends on Winston. Interesting. Okay, so I won't pretend like I fully understand that, but here it looks like I've compiled successfully. And if I view GUI, I should keep that console open. Yep, those warnings are not my own, but maybe ones that I can make pull requests for in the future. And back to view home, and back to view GUI. And it seems like we are good to go. All right, so I've made those changes to package.json, two pretty small ones here, just describing the project. And now I'm going to say update project description. And after doing that quick little thing, I think I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks.